Hey JT, you want to shoot a video?
What video? Is that like the stuff that goes on the interwebs?
Not that kind of video, JT. He watches all this naughty stuff. JT, dude, so I've been fishing the net a whole bunch, and this guy is the one I have to thank for it. I fish with Mag Ned a lot, and JT is literally the one who kind of taught me about using the Ned to get a bunch of bites and stuff like that. But one thing I don't think we talk about enough is how a Ned comes into play in fall. Catch a ton of fish in spring on it, catch a ton of fish in summer on it, but how do you fish it as we kind of go into those months when fish are really focused on bait? You know, they're schooling, they're doing all that, where that worm kind of goes out of play. So I'm going to talk to this guy, the one that actually taught me how to fish a Ned, about how to fish a Ned, your Ned, the Nichols.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Nichols Mag Ned head. That would be the JT Kenney signature series. But I want to tell you about what Mikey was just saying about why fish will actually bite a Ned in the fall when they are so focused on bait. And well, they're sometimes a lot like humans. They're lazy. They're lazy asses. Every once in a while, they will get lazy. They'll get in an area where they've been feeding on the bait. Early in the morning, you know, in the fall, they're really crushing on that bait, bouncing around there on the surface, chasing it underneath the surface. And then once like 9, 10 o'clock comes, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, they'll start slowing down. And I think those fish kind of sink down to the bottom a little bit. And they're still kind of like amped because there's a lot of bait around and the bait fish are active, but they got a belly full and they're kind of down there. They're kind of like, oh, there's some bait. Oh, there goes a couple more bait. Oh, there goes a couple more baits. But they're full and they're not as apt to go chase it. Well, when you get that little Ned head, or like we say, the Mag Ned head from Nichols, you get that little Ned head, put whatever your favorite bait is on there. Make sure you got some good scent on there. I like bait fuel, but whatever you want to use. And just drag that around under where you see all that bait still going crazy, but the fish aren't really feeding on it. The fish are there. The fish are not leaving the area where that bait is because they know tonight they're going to get fired up. They're going to eat it again. Tomorrow morning they're going to get fired up. They're going to eat it again. But that middle of the daytime, in the middle of the day in the fall of the year, so many times those bass, they'll just sink down. All you got to do is get the net out, drag it around underneath of them. You're going to get whammy cackled.
Excellent advice. So one other question that I have, and I bet you guys have it too, is so I play around a lot with like swimming in Ned, and I do a little bit of, it's not like dangle dicking, it's more like dangle popping, you know, if you will, like popping the bait off the bottom. What are a couple a
little bit like a Chicago dumping pump.
Yeah, okay, so
Chicago
go
dumping pump, but it's just a little bit lighter. And one thing that does, so obviously the Ned bait's a really small bait, right? So it's not as intrusive to them, and when they're already full, it's a little bit, you know, they're more apt to bite that. But sometimes you need to trigger them. And what he was talking about, whether you're like dangle dicking or power dangling it, or like I like to call the Chicago dumping pump, you're just kind of snapping it up off the bottom. And you don't have to do like a hook set snap off the bottom. You can just do like a twink and just make that thing just kind of jump up, and then I'll drag it along a little bit. And then make it jump up. And a lot of times when it jumps up, that's that little trigger. That's that last thing. Like if he's kind of following it, you know, and then it goes and it jumps up, that's that little trigger that makes him, and you just feel your line just all of a sudden just goes tight, and you reel into him.
So last thing, we're always talking about like what to fish something on, and I know I talked about it back in a summer video. One of the nice things about this Mag Ned is you don't have to throw it on ninny tackle. Like you can throw it. I throw I think it's a quarter, it's just under a quarter on a spinning rod a lot. But if you need to get a little bit deeper, JT, what's your setup for like that Mag Ned when you're putting that bigger stick bait and stuff on there?
Well, you can go up to as far as a 5/16 on it.
Right.
And I'll use a medium action 7-foot bait caster with like 12-pound test on it, and it works great for that. It just gives you a little bit more control, but yet, you know, a 5/16 with, a lot of times I'll just use about 2/3 of a 5-inch stick bait, whatever brand you want to throw. Use about 2/3 of it, dude. That's heavy enough. Like it falls, you know, it falls pretty quick, gets to the bottom, whether you're fishing it in 10 feet or 20 feet, or I mean, hell, sometimes we even fish it in 35 feet. You know, and depending on where the fish are and where the bait is. But yeah, I'll go to that 1/4 ounce is about my line, like 1/4 ounce and down, say 1/4, 3/16, 1/8. I'll go on spinning tackle, usually have 10-pound braid to 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, maybe 8-pound fluorocarbon leader if it's really, really clear water. But if I'm doing above a 1/4, you know what I mean, whether it's a 5/16 or 3/8, I'm definitely going medium action 7-foot bait caster or 7.2 medium action bait caster. I'm going 12-pound line.
I love JT because he taught me how to fish a Ned, or he showed me how good a Ned is. We were out on like Okeechobee one day, couldn't get any bites, and he picks up this little, it was actually an old mushroom jig that Nichols makes, and he was using it like a Ned, and he literally pitched like with like 12-pound test to like a little stalk, and he'd catch like a 2-pounder, and it sucked. So a 2-pounder was great, dude, but every little stalk he went to, he'd catch one, dude, and it blew my mind. So I picked it up, I applied it on some of these deep lakes. It was a lot of fun. So you can learn stuff from him too. JT is an awesome dude. What's your YouTube and stuff? Because I want them to go follow you and check you out on there.
Yeah, man, it's just JT Kenny Fishing, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, all that stuff. JT Kenny Fishing, JT KENNEY. Come check me out. We got all kinds of stuff. Mikey and I do a lot of stuff together, so you'll still see a lot of Mikey's stuff, but it might be some stuff that you didn't actually see on his channel, so come check it out.
He's the Ginger King. Hit that like and subscribe button. Go check out JT. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch up with you later.